Welcome back, guys. This next episode of Goodbye Windows, Hello Manjaro is going to deal with drivers. Now, thankfully, in most Linux distributions, especially Arch and Manjaro, most drivers are configured during the install process, and the correct drivers are installed automatically, so that when you boot your system, you've got everything working. And major progress has been made in that area. However, sometimes there are a couple of things that may be a little bit finicky. Now, uh, as far as video graphics drivers, the only one I can speak on is the Nvidia because that's what I have in my systems. I don't have any AMD, so the or the ATI, but the Nvidia for the most part, especially in Arch and in especially Manjaro, as long as you install when you do your installation, Manjaro gives you the choice of doing the non-free drivers install. So if you have Broadcom Wi-Fi, or if you have Nvidia graphics or AMD ATI graphics, then you'll want to use the non-free drivers install option. When you do that, in most cases, especially with Nvidia, your drivers will be configured and operational out of the box, as mine are. And there's really nothing else for you to do. But if for some reason you find that your Nvidia drivers are not installed, then what you can do is you can manually install, and these are the packages that you would need to install. Now, this gives you all of the files that you need for NVIDIA, both 64 and 32-bit. If you're running 64-bit, you'll want the 32-bit in case you want to do any additional gaming, such as Steam. Now, also you'll want NVIDIA settings. You'll want this file here, lib32-libldap. You'll want that if you're going to do any BattleNet gaming. That's a necessity. So I have listed all of the drivers that you will need, and I'll put them on a different sentence. So these are the drivers you will need. It'll pull in nvidia-xconfig, nvidia settings, nvidia-utils, lib32. So all of these should get your NVIDIA driver, NVIDIA card going if it hasn't been configured for you out of the box. Now for Broadcom Wi-Fi, the Wi-Fi for Broadcom, as I mentioned in the past, when I do the install, the Broadcom Wi-Fi is identified and works out of the box during the install. Once I boot, that's not the case, and I end up having to install the drivers. So for that, what you would do is open up a terminal. The first thing you need to do is you need to know what kernel you're running. So you'll put uname space dash lowercase r and find out what kernel you're running. So in my case, it's 4.4. So what you're going to do is you're going to search yaourt for Broadcom drivers. And you will just type Broadcom. Now when you do that, you will, if you scroll back to the first, you'll see a listing of Broadcom-WL according to the kernel that you're running. Now you can see I'm running the 4.4, so I have Linux 44 Broadcom-WL. You can see it's installed. That's what you would do. You would identify your kernel and pick the package that's appropriate for the kernel that you're running. then you would just type in the package name down the bottom. In my case, it would be 9, and you would go through the install. Once you do that, you would have to reboot. Once you reboot, then you would have Broadcom available. Now, if I click on Network Manager Applet, you can see that I have all of my Wi-Fi available, and these are pulling in through my Broadcom Wi-Fi adapter. It's an internal PCI card, and that is configured properly using that driver install method that I just explained to you. So that should wrap up your NVIDIA and your Broadcom Wi-Fi. There should not be anything else that you need to do once you have the drivers installed. As I said, once you install Broadcom and reboot, you should be good to go. It should show up in your network applet, your network manager applet. So I am going to follow up within a day or so with a video related to Linux gaming, and that's where your NVIDIA will come into play. So guys, I hope that takes care of your NVIDIA Broadcom needs. I will paste this information into the show notes. Thank you for stopping by the channel. Please rate, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you soon. Take care.